Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Goodness John, and today I'm going to be showing us how to make a suit breast pocket. So you can also use it to make a senator or men's kaftan, the left pocket. I've cut out two pieces of fabric. The shorter one is 7.5 by 5 inches, and the longer one is 7.5 by 10 inches. I'll be ironing interfacing on both pieces. For the longer piece, I'm going to iron 3 inches because I'll be folding it 1.5 inch down. I'll iron it and then fold it down. Just as it looks now, that's how it's going to look when I iron it down. Okay, so for the other piece, I'll just place a 2 inch by 7.5 inch interfacing and iron it on just one side. So I won't be folding the upper piece down, just the lower piece. So I've ironed this. Now I'm measuring out what my pocket is going to look like. My pocket is going to be 4 inches long, 4.5 inch long. So I'm trying to centralize it at the center of this piece that I have. Okay, so my 4.5 will start from that point, and then I'll measure it to where it's going to stop. So 4.5 inch, I'll just measure that there. And then my pocket's going to be 1 inch wide, so I'll measure that across as well. That line, the 1 inch line, will be where my sewing is going to start from. So if you notice, I'm sewing on the other side. The folded part of this is below this piece, so I turned it to the other side, and this is where we'll be sewing on, not on the other end. We're sewing on this end. So for the upper piece, it's going to be smaller, like 1 inch smaller, so 1/2 inch on both sides, smaller than this measurement we've taken on the lower piece. So instead of it being 4.5, it's going to be 3.5 inch. So I'm just taking out the 1.5 on this side and then measuring 3.5 inches. So this is the upper piece is going to be 3.5, the lower piece is going to be 4.5 inches. So now I have the measurement. I'll take this to the main fabric. So whatever cloth you're sewing on, you place it first. I'll mark where the pocket is going to be on the cloth. So I've taken my measurement on the cloth and I've decided where the pocket will be. So I'm marking it down. Once I mark it down to know where it's going to start from, forget my sewing line is going to be on that 1 inch line, the one I marked initially. So I'm going to place it on the cloth and then go and sew it on it. So I've gone and I've sewn it right or at the point where I marked. So for the top, I'll bring the fabric down and then place it. So I'll make sure that my 3.5 is in between the 4.5 inch. So it's 1/2 inch on either side shorter. So I'll place that, push it down and place it where the stitch stopped. Like push it down and place it where the stitch of the lower part stopped, and then mark where my sewing will be. Then I'll go, after I mark this, I'll go and sew that down on that line, on the 3.5 line. So I've sewn that down. The next thing I'm going to do is to split this open. I'll take a scissors and then split this open. So I'm going to split this carefully. When I get close to the end of the top stitch, I will make a V at the top and then make a V, connect that to the bottom stitch, so where the stitch starts. I'll do that for this side and I'll do that for the other side as well. You have to be careful, make sure you don't go past the stitch, the beginning of the stitch. It has to be where the stitch starts. If you go past that point, you're going to have problems. It's not going to be neat. So you have to be careful and gentle when you're cutting, when you're splitting. After we split it open and we cut it all out, the next thing we'll do is push the upper piece in and then push the lower piece in. So this is where we form the pockets. Once you push that in, we'll fold the sides, make sure it is straight or whatever shape you want it. If you want it slanted, if you want it straight, just make it whatever shape and make sure it's even and equal. So once I've gotten the shape I want, I will iron this and then go and sew that down. So I'm carefully ensuring that my shape is how I want it to look. I'm being careful to iron it so that I have a neat finish. So it looks really neat. I just want to ensure that it looks the way I want it to look before I go and sew that down. So once I get the position I want, I'll take a pin and pin that down. Next thing I'll do is to take it and sew that down. So I'm going to be sewing on the line. So once you iron, it's going to create a line. So I'm going to be sewing on that line all the way to the beginning of the stitch initially. So after I sew that down, I've sewn that now, I'm going to trim off the excess and just leave 1/4 inch allowance. You'd need to weave this. If you're sewing, you need to, maybe if you have a weaving machine, weave the edges and just rough edges so you have a neat finishing. So I will trim this and then put it back. Once I've trimmed it, then it's time to seal the pocket. I just need to lift this up. This is what it looks like. I lift this and then sew a pocket shape cup curve around the pocket, and then we're done. Please like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you're notified whenever I post a new video. If you have any questions, drop in the comment section. And I have sewn this all down and I'm going to trim off the excess. So, and once I've trimmed off the excess, you need to weave the edges. If you're not weaving the edges, then make sure you're folding over each other so you have like a neat finishing. To have neat finishing is really important in sewing. So it's either you're weaving it or you're folding the edges, doing a neat finishing, just like I'm showing you. Okay, so this is what the pocket looks like. It looks like a single well pocket, but this kind of looks like it's protruding over the fabric, not in the fabric. So this is what the inside looks like. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and drop your questions in the comment section, and see you in my next video.